that pill. Ain't no time for acting. It's like camera action. Real life is a script. Real talk is what it is. Enlighten your 6 sense. We back at it again. Until you can't filter it. It's raw. Uncut, no taste.
Yo, what's going on? This is your boy DJ Talented in the building, and this show gonna be dope, man. We talking about music on this show, and you know I love me some music, man. So this is the real,
the raw,
and the motherfucking rugged. You dig? We on every Saturday at 12 o'clock, whether it's a replay or it's live. We on 12 o'clock Saturdays. Get your cup. I got me a cup today.
Damn, you didn't give me no cup?
You got your Powerade. I got a cup. But to my right, I have
Miss Entertainment, y'all.
And right in front of me, I have
the real J Nauti.
And on screen, we have
Deuce in the building.
Yeah. So to just give you a little intermission, or what should I say? To give you some information about these guys that's on this show today, J Nauti is not only a music producer, he's also a owner of Audio Swagger Records. And then we have Deuce, which is one of the artists that he's been working with for a long time, man. So check Deuce out and check J Nauti out, man. This show gonna be banging today. What's going on, J Nauti?
What up?
What's going on, Deuce?
Deuce, we here, man. Saturday, loving it.
Yeah, I should have got a cup too.
Me too.
Hold on.
Selfish.
She got her Powerade over here. She drinking.
Yeah. I'm gonna get one.
J Nauti got his checkers over there. He drinking.
But he just recently said, "Ooh, some Deuce over here," but he said it real low.
It was only his last piece.
Oh, is Deuce in the building?
It was.
It was some Deuce. I won't blame you. Yeah, that ought to be going quick.
It's gone, man. It's gone. They need to make a bigger bottle of that, though. They don't.
They do.
That's what we need.
Yeah, a big old bottle of that shit. What's going on, fellas? What's going on? We're gonna be talking about all parts of music today.
Okay.
With you being a producer,
All right.
How did you become a producer?
Well, that's a interesting question. So, like, I didn't aim to be a producer. That wasn't the goal. You know, I started out, and don't ask me to do it, but you know, that gentleman right there, we started out rapping together.
Okay.
And, you know, made so much music. And I got to the point where I was just like, okay, I don't want to rap over anyone else's music. These are my words over someone else's music.
Right.
So I was like, why don't I just make my own? Because I'm kind of running out of stuff to rap over. So, so that's where that came from. It was necessity. So I switched over to that and just kept at it.
Yeah. How many years you been in the game?
For a little bit. About 10 years.
Oh, not bad. Me myself, I started off producing, but then got more into the engineering side of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've been producing since like 2002.
Okay.
Got my credits and from the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Science in 2009, and been doing music as an engineer ever since.
Yeah. For me, it was just self-taught. Yeah, self-taught. Lots of videos, lots of studio time, lots of different artists. I mean, I've been in you know, some interesting situations going to the studio. So you see it all, you know, all levels of professiononalism.
Okay.
Say.
You know you're gonna have to share right now. You got
yeah.
You don't have to call no names.
She knows you.
He got some stories. Believe me, he got some stories.
I am all ears, you know, because I am that connoisseur of ratchetness.
Yeah. Interesting studio sessions. That's always what we look for. Interesting. I mean, I've been in sessions where, you know, you'll hit the session, the artist will, I mean, they'll have everything put together and we just kind of just run through it, you know. And I think I even told, you know, DJ Talent, like, you know, I can record. That's not really what I want to do. I'm more in the producing side. The tracking engineer, I'm not so much interested in, but I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm more interested in the mixing and the creation process than just strictly tracking. But during my tracking adventures, I've been in very interesting situations where studio sessions turned from, okay, we're about to start working on this one song to now it's a strip club.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
It's a full-on strip club in the studio.
Yeah, I've been in that situation.
Yeah. So you know, it's
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
that's happened a couple of times. Not because of me, but I guess it's the music, you know, because like I've had quite a few of my songs playing in the Atlanta area, like in the strip clubs. So I actually make music like that.
Okay.
Again, not on purpose. That's just what I made.
Hey, it's making you money. It's on
Right,
purpose.
Right. So you know, I've seen it from both sides. That's all.
Yeah. I had a situation like that where I was recording for an artist and they brought some girls in and I'm trying to engineer. They in the studio in the same room that I'm in. And they playing with titties and all this here type of stuff and doing everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, how am I supposed to work with this?
You know what they say though? Like the reality is like the music actually it affects you on more of a physical level, especially when you're playing heavy bass music. Like it makes your body feel a certain way. So I think, you know, I think, you know, when I was younger, and he can probably tell you, when I was younger, I would sometimes I would make stuff on purpose to be whatever super ratchet. It is what it is. But I think as I got older, I realized that, you know, this music can be really influential.
Yeah.
It can really affect people's mood. It can make people feel happy, sad, angry, ratchet, various degrees of ratchetness. Like you know,
to the 10th power.
Exactly. So it just really depends on what you're putting out there. And then, you know, it will attract certain people. That's just what it is.
Now I had an interesting conversation with a young lady. She's a singer, she's an artist, and as we was talking about I guess how music changes your mood because she was like I think she said she was like a manager of this restaurant, and when they had on, you know, like trap music, people break out and start fighting.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then it's like, well, is it a level of maturity too? Because at my age, you know, we don't need to go into that, but it's not going to make me want to fight, you know, but I do like all types of music, including trap music. So is it the age that changes your mood or I guess prevents you from moving to another level? Because, you know, because when they blame, you know, for is what's that, when the West Coast got really hot and that type of music was the catalyst for killing, and which all that stuff had been going on anyway. They was just reflecting on what they're seeing.
Yeah. Well, what I'll tell you is like, so you know, growing up, I'm not from Atlanta, by the way. I'm from Louisiana. So growing up here, I was you know, young in the club scene heavy, and we used to get, you know, the crunk music, you know, that's what it was. And then, you know, you would get music like 3-6 Mafia playing, and it would start a fight. It would start a fight. Like
Really?
just because of how it sounds. Like it feels like a fight. Let's just say it that way. The music feels like something's about to happen. Something's about to happen. Oh, it happened. Yeah. I knew that was coming. It's like the Jaws music. Dun, dun, dun. It's coming. What is it? What is it? It's coming. Where is it?
Yeah, one song by 3-6 Mafia that I guess, you know, I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. It's gonna come to me.
Yeah, all those songs. All those songs. That's what they were made for.
That ludicrous joint.
You talking about tear the club up. That's what that was.
Yeah, all that.
Tear the club up. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that don't make me want to tear the club up. But okay.
It made me want to get out the way because whatever's gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen to me.
You know, I hear the Jaws music. I know what's happening. I'm going over there.
It's crazy. So what drives you in today's music?
I would say I'm super interested in the sounds that are available now. And when I say that, I like, you know, when we were growing up, the whole idea of putting out a song or a project, you have to go through, you know, these labels and they have to go through these people. And, you know, if you don't know the right people, nothing comes out really. You're pretty much stuck.
True.
So, and it's not saying that there's not a lot of music out there. It's just saying what people have access to is very limited and how you can put it out there. So I'd say right now, I like the fact that you could make a very different sound and still put it out, and more people can actually get a chance to hear it than before. So,
Right.
we have more flexibility. We don't have to sound like the last person that was, just on the regular radio.
Okay. Now, Deuce, how you doing, brother?
Good. How y'all doing today? Y'all a little
Good,
bit
man.
drinking good, sipping good, so y'all doing good today.
No, not us. Him.
Hey, I only got a little,
Talented is
bit of
over
stuff
there
right here.
sipping good today.
All I got in here is some Sprite, man. Thought I got some Sprite in here.
Yeah.
That's all that's left.
So, what's your favorite genre of music?
That's an interesting question because, like, when I grew up on because Nauti. I'm not from Atlanta. I was actually born in Mississippi, and I grew up on like blues. I grew up on R&B. Like my mom put me on that from the get go. She was running around the house playing Minnie Riperton and playing all types of folks, BB King and everybody. And once I got a little bit older, and like John said, we started out rapping together. I fell in love with hip hop instantly. As soon as I heard it, as soon as I understood it, I knew what I loved about it. Like Outkast was the first album I ever purchased in my life. Like I went and bought Quim and I like when it came out. That's how far back it go. So like when I bought it and I listened to it, I was like, these dudes is doing something that you don't see in any other part of the world. Like that music in that realm was different than anything else you've seen on TV. Right. Especially back when MTV was running everything, rock and all that other stuff. But as I got older, I started appreciating more genres because I wanted to incorporate more of them into what I like to do. So hip hop is going to always be my first true love. Like it's going to be the one, that's the one that you always remember. You know what? I'm never going to forget hip hop. I'm always going to be that to the core. But I've stretched out a lot more in the past 5-10 years with a lot of the music that I listen to. But at the end of the day, hip hop just tells stories in a way that you're just not going to find anywhere else. It's just going to mean something different when you hear it because you know who's making it and what they mean when they make it, So hip hop is number one for me.
Good. So what got you started? I know you say you and Nauti started rapping together or whatever, but what actually got you started into rapping?
Well, I started because I always felt like I had words in my head that I just need to put down, but I wanted to say it in a way. Like when me and Nauti started, he didn't tell you the full story. When we started, we used to sit there like after school just chilling. Like he'd come over to the house and we'd be chilling and I was just finding all these instrumentals. We just be sitting there downloading like all the new songs that come out and download all the instrumentals, all the Lil Wayne instrumentals, all the T.I., Ludacris, all that. So we'd be sitting at the house just freestyling all day, just recording every freestyle we did because we didn't really have nothing else to do anyway. So like we would just be sitting at the house just recording. So after a while, I was like, you know what? We could do this for real, like do this as a path for us to express ourselves from what we see. Because we were starting off just being silly. We would just say whatever came to mind, like really like on some Lil Wayne type stuff. But then once we got a little old, started saying, all right, let's sit down, let's craft a little bit more. Let's figure out what exactly we want to do with music. That's when I started writing stuff down. That's when I started writing full songs. That's when I started looking at the beats Nauti was making. And it's like, you know what? I got something that can go with this, something that can go on that. And we started building from there. And next thing you know, we made a whole project together. We put it out. And ever since then, I was like, man, I'm not going to leave this music alone. I'm always going to circle back to this, even the stuff. But now we came over and I'm sitting here like, dude, we got something here. So we've been working on it for a minute, but it's just a way for me to express something that I don't get to do in my daily life. Because I was working corporate jobs. I was doing the whole retail thing, but I was not being able to express myself. So music allows me to just talk about me and what I go through in my life without having to have a lot of like extra fluff in it. What you hear is pretty much what's going on. So I always gonna have that to be able to express myself with.
So Jay, now do you play different instruments? So do y'all incorporate the liveness into your music? Because that's what I personally, I feel that that's what we're missing.
In hip hop, hip hop and trap, we're missing more of the live type music, like live drums, live guitars, and all that type of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it really depends on it really depends on what you want the music to do. I mean, if you listen to a lot of hip hop and trap music like I do, you're right. Yeah, it's not in there. It's really not in there. But that I'd say that the crowd doesn't necessarily have an appetite for that yet.
okay.
Yet. I would say in order for that to happen, we'd have to have, some different music get put in front of them. And then they'd say, oh, wait a minute. You can do more than just a hi-hat? Yeah, there's nothing more than hi-hats. There's way more than instruments than that. They're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah. So I think, like I said before, this is a good time to be in music because we can do that. We can incorporate that, and make songs that are going to last more than 3 weeks.
Yes.
Good.
So yeah, like I like a lot of the live instrumentations. I'm a fake piano player, so so I'm that guy. But yeah, a lot of the sounds and samples that I'll pull will be from live instrumentations. So I'm still relying on that expertise. Like my idea of being a producer isn't necessarily the person that's sitting there doing this, and that's not the idea. The idea for me is, you put together the sound, right? The entire sound. Can you envision what it sounds like with all the instruments, including the vocals? What is this going to be as a whole? What's the feel that people can get from the song? How do they interpret what you just did? Right? Does it sound deep? Does it sound shallow? Is that the purpose? Right? Like, how does it come across to people? Because I may like something, very specific, and then other people may not like that at all. So
true.
Why are you putting music out? So I think that's always a good thing to get into. Like I said, me and Deuce, we go back and forth on that a lot. So when you listen to his music, it's almost as if he's describing. He'll tell you. It's almost as if he's describing a movie or a scene out of a TV show, right? That's how the songs come across, and that's how they sound. Actually, a lot of it's hip hop, a lot of it's him doing hip hop over R&B or whatever. But like I say,
they do mashups with everything nowadays, don't they?
That's what it is. Because I'm gonna tell you, like when I'm selling beats to just other rappers, like if they're in the trap, you know what they always ask me for?
What?
R&B songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which makes no sense. They want to get on R&B songs, and all the R&B singers want to get over rap songs.
Well, you remember back in the day when it was just a privilege for a rapper to be on an R&B song.
Yeah.
Now it's like switch. It switched to it was a privilege just for an R&B singer to be on a rap song. But I personally like even though they don't necessarily do rap, but I feel like they're trying to bring that R&B feel back. And that's what's his name? Bruno Mars and his team.
Him and Pack. Yeah, that sounds real good. I mean, even them and her.
Definitely.
Yes, her.
Her definitely brought it back because she made it not so much about image than it is about substance of the music.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. And she actually got a songwriting thing out.
I saw that. Yeah. So it's coming back. It's in waves. People are developing an appetite for it, but there's always going to be an appetite for ratchetness. So
always.
Yes, there will be. Yes.
You make something that can get in a strip club, boy. You got you a hit right there.
Shake something. Song,
especially here in the South.
Yeah.
It's like shake, 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 shake. That's the song. That's the whole song. Nothing else. Just say that over and over again.
Get you some drums. You like three instruments.
That's it.
Good.
Matter of fact, just two. Just the bass.
Yeah, I'll
Just
use
then-
bass.
and just a little hi hat. Nothing else. Just-
Yeah, like the Lil Wayne joint, Millie.
right,
That was so
Yeah.
plain.
right. That's what I tell them. I was like, look, I say, dude, I know like our music isn't made for strip clubs. I was like, but the songs I've had played in strip clubs are so bare bones, like super basic. I was making a beat in the studio with an artist, and I was like, all right, I've made about what I've considered to be half of the beat. Like, oh no, that sounds good. I need that. That's it. I just have drums on here, drums
That's
and
it.
just one sound. That's it.
We
That's
done.
it.
Wow.
Turn it up. Record. Let's go.
Turn it
Wow.
up. Let's go. Let's
Like, well,
record it
hurry
and
up.
take us to
Let's
the club
go.
right now.
Do it now. Do it today.
So what's one of the hardest, this is to both of you guys, what's one of the hardest things about producing for you and about rapping for you?
I'll let you go first.
Now, you want to go first? Go ahead. Drop that knowledge on them.
Yeah,
Drop
I
the
mean,
knowledge for the people.
I'd say the hardest thing is not imposing my will upon artists.
Okay.
And when I say that, like I used to name all my beats different things, and I realized every time I would call a beat whatever, the artist would literally name the song that and make the song that. I was like, that's not the, I was just giving you the name of the beat. You don't have
Right.
to, you don't have to do that. That's not what it's, the song is not, I just call the beat Gatorade ×2. And they're like, oh yeah, that's the name of the song. No, it's not. That's, so I got to the point where I stopped giving them that kind of direction. And I just stopped naming stuff. And I said, if you're truly creative, you should be listening and not reading it. So
Yeah.
make something up on your own. I don't want to influence you. You already have the beat. I'm not going to tell you what to write about
Right.
unless you want to pay me to write for you. Then that's totally different.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you what to write about.
Give me them points.
Yeah.
Give me them points.
So, but I will tell you though, the flip side to that, I started doing some of my other canned production with hooks on it already to even give them more direction. And 9 times out of 10, they'll just use it as is. The really good ones, however, will take the song and say, oh, okay, I see what that was doing, and I'm gonna do something different. But thanks for the assist. I said, okay, cool. I'm fine as long as you put the song out. That's all I really care about. At the end of the day, is if they put the song out. Doesn't do me any good if there's like 1,000 songs that nobody ever hears.
True.
So
Do you think the creativeness is diminishing? I don't know. It's like you were saying, it's like people tend to, oh, that's good, and take it from there. But it's like, you want that back and forth, really, let's do this together. I don't know.
yeah, well, that's I'd say this to Deuce and pretty much every other artist I meet. There's 2 types of artists. There's only 2.
Okay.
Only 2 ever. Even musicians, there's only 2. Those that create and then those that steal. That's it. There's nothing else.
That's true.
There's nothing. Yeah, see, there's nothing else
Yeah.
out. Either you are
100%.
an original creator, you can create something either out of nothing, or right, you can just make that, or you're really good at taking someone else's. Yeah, that's it. So, and it doesn't take very long to see who you're talking to in the studio. So, like I said, Deuce is a creator. Same for me. I'm a creator. I can make it from the ground up, on demand, whenever. Right? It's not an issue. You run into other folks, they're like, "Oh, it's gonna take me 5 weeks to write this." What are you doing? Oh, I'm listening to a whole bunch of little whoever. Got it. I went ahead and stole their flow. Don't you have your own? Don't worry about that.
Oh, that's why I take it so.
You got to figure out, can I steal a good flow? Okay. And again, I would say though, at its core, hip hop is sampling, right? But it's sampling to recreate and make something new.
Yes.
Not sampling to just copy the last person.
Right.
That is not the purpose. So.
Okay. And for you, Deuce?
Well, for me, like for rapping, so like my biggest experience with rapping now, like I said before, when I started, I was just trying to be like the best rap out there. I was buying into who gonna be the best rapper alive, who gonna do that. Like I used to listen to Jay all the time, and that's all he talked about. But I knew that Jay talked about more than that. But that's what the whole premise of what he felt rap was. Like I'm the best rapper alive, even though I'm not a rapper. And Wayne did the same thing. It used to be about that, but then I noticed as it went along, it was like I started listening to like Kid Cudi, I started listening to Kanye, more folks, and I started realizing it was more like who's creating the best imagery, who's creating the best album, who's putting project out that from start to finish you feel like that artist is giving you a full spectrum of what they're about, from not just musically but just mentally, spiritually, where they headed with it. So like when we were sitting there, and Nauti will tell you, when we sitting there making an album, like the second single I put out, 21, we was literally sitting in his house that night and he was just making the beat. And I was sitting there listening to it. I was like, I like that. What you gonna do with it? He was like, oh, I'm gonna put this on it. And it's got a little hook that says 21 bottles. I take them straight to the head. As soon as I heard that, I was like, I already know what the song's about. He's like, you already know? I was like, I already know. Because the way I write my music now, I write it to where it's all imagery. It's all about what I imagined in that moment. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, I got a whole story. It's about this girl I met. We went out one night. We did all this crazy stuff, and we didn't even know each other, but we talking about we love each other because we knew it was the alcohol and everything else, but it didn't matter. That one night, we was going to be together. So I said, all right, I'm write that song, because that's what that made me think of. 21 bottles. That's really how hard we was going that night, but it didn't matter to her. It didn't matter to me. But the song itself is giving you that vibe of like you in the club, you in this dark, it's lights, and you see people just in the background. What are they doing? It's like music to me makes me connect my stories to my lyrics. Like I'll experience the story, then I'll go back and write it, and then I'll hear a Nauti production. I'm like, all right, I know where to place the story now. I know where to take this story and go with it. So rapping for me has started turning into, how do I tell these experiences that I'm living? Because like Nauti said, you can sit there and just make whatever you want to make, or you can listen to everybody else and then do what everybody else is doing. I was actually listening to a song last night when I was walking, because I live in New Orleans, and it's Jazz Fest this weekend, so it's music is everywhere right now. And there was a young rapper, a dude that was trying to like promote his music with people, and I'm listening to it, and all he's saying is, I keep that stuff in my pocket. Yeah, I got me a rocket. I'm like, dog, you do know everybody says that, right? Everybody talks about they got pockets and rockets and Dracos and Waco, all that other stuff. But to him, he felt like he was making the best music in life, which is a rapper. You should feel like your music can stand up to anybody else's. But at some point, you got to think to yourself, what is your music actually standing up to? Because if you just putting yourself to whatever you just heard on the radio or whatever's on your Spotify playlist, you're never really going to actually separate yourself from that. You never really going to get yourself into your own lane, even though you feel like you are, because you think that music is unique to you, and it's not. So that's why when Nauti says it's those who create, those who steal, I feel like really it sounds bad to say steal. It really does. But it's not necessarily they're out here trying to just rip off everything. They just hear a blueprint and they go copy it and say, now it's my music. And I don't know how you can really know that until you've done something that you've never tried before. And I think a lot of rappers right now are afraid to try something that doesn't sound like what they already know, because they don't know how their fans or whoever they got listening to their music is going to take it. So for me, that's not a concern. Like when I put music out, I'm telling you, this is what I like making. It's going to have like hip hop elements. It's going to have R&B elements, but it's also going to have, if Nauti wants to go do EDM, throw that a little in there, throw a little electronic. If he wants to throw in a little, indie stuff, or he wants to throw in any type of elements he finds, I'll adapt to that and say, all right, let's find a way to include that into it. Because now it's not just hip hop. It's not just rap. It's just music. And you got bass elements, but your music still is expressing yourself. And that's something Nauti's always kind of like pushed me to do. Just take different beats of his, and I'll never use the same type of beat twice. Like you'll never hear me make the same song twice. I promise you won't. So that's what rapping has been doing. And since then, we've been making all kind of crazy stuff. I can't wait for folks to hear this album when we put it out. But there's just so much stuff going on that music really gives me a chance, and rapping is just my base, but it's not me as a musician or an artist. It's just where I started from.
So let me ask you this. for artists, because we know a young man that's hungry, and
Mhm.
he's hungry, but the material, it, like you saying, it doesn't say anything, but
Mhm.
like everybody else.
Mhm.
So what advice would you give to those artists that's like that? I mean, like you say, he's hungry, and some of the stuff I'm just like, ah.
Well, what I would say,
Well,
um,
for me, it's like it's a direction of where you want to go. And I think the difference what's happened is before when people used to be like on at gas stations, right? People used to pull up trying to sell you CDs. People used to try to
Mhm.
sell you mixtapes. They was selling them. They were selling what they said. All right, I went in the studio, I put these 15 songs together. I'm selling me and my music and my product and everything. Now I feel like when people put music, like I say, he'll be hungry. He wants to do music, but what you find out is like, I just want to be like, I want to get all my followers to like this music. I want all the people that follow me on Instagram and all the people that like me on social media to like this music because that's what they're gonna listen to. And I'm like, you're creating it for them. That's not really the route you want to take. You want to create it for yourself first and then find a way to make that appealing to people because you don't want to like trap yourself in, well, I say trap, kind of ironic, but you don't want to trap yourself into just one type of way of doing music. And a lot of them will do that and be going so hard doing that. But by the time you've gotten all these songs, you listen to them, it's like, bro, this is literally 15 remixes of the first
Of the
song you
same
made.
stuff.
Like you
Mm.
you remix the beat, you remix the lyrics, and you put that out 15 times. But that's not how it used to be. It used to be you be like, look, I got a song for the girls, I got a song club, I got a song the streets, I got a song for this, and that, and you really be trying to touch everything instead of now it's like, no, I just know all my fans gonna listen to just this, so that's all I'm making. And you gonna get lost in the crowd like that. You're gonna get lost in the abyss trying to be like that.
yeah, I would say an actual way to get him out of that pattern is to do what other artists do to get out of that pattern.
Okay.
Um, Michael Jackson did it. Bon Iver did it. A lot of these like bands, like Coldplay, like musicians. This is
Mhm.
what they do. What they do is they separate themselves from the influence, right? The reason he's making the same sound over and over is because he's also listening to that sound over and over. So if he can
Right.
basically do a, I guess you could call it a musical rehab and separate himself and stop listening to music, eventually his voice will come out. He basically needs to mute the other voices and just listen to himself and start making music. That's gonna seem really weird. It's like, well, how do I make music if I don't know what everyone else is doing? You already
I
know
worry
it,
about everybody else.
right? You already know what they're doing because they've been doing it for the last few years. They haven't changed anything. They went from rapping to the beat to rapping to the hi-hats. They
Mhm.
haven't really changed much, right? So I was like, look, you already have something in you. Maybe you just don't feel comfortable expressing that. So right now you're just emulating,
What he sees.
others, which is okay. But in order for you to branch out, your three-dimensional, four-dimensional self, you're gonna need to get off of that, 2D plane, right? You're gonna need to get off of watching everyone else and saying, okay, well, let me just work on me. Let me just pull out whatever I'm thinking. And that's maturity. That's gonna take time. It won't happen in one day. So, and it's going to take patience. So, I mean, that's what I would say. I would say stop listening to really any music. Get you a producer and maybe some songwriters, some people that you trust, and y'all just make music, but don't really listen to other people'
Mhm.
music, right? I think that's the best way to break that pattern. I mean, I do that. Like, I'll take certain times when I'm listening to new stuff I just want to just pull in a bunch of new stuff. And then after that, I cut off and I stop listening to other people's music, just flat out. I don't listen to anything. And then, because I've already gathered enough, I guess you could say, raw materials in me. So now I'm like, okay, what do I want to do?
Right.
Right.
Instead of, okay, what is everyone else doing? So you have to cut off at a certain point. That's how I look at it. Plus, that's what, these multiple award-winning artists do anyway. So not like we have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
You
just
just need,
unplug a little bit.
you just need to be aware of it. That's all. So,
So what were your thoughts? Because this is not a easy industry, and there's a lot of folks in there that's talking about they want to get their music, they want to do their music, they want to get it out. What advice? Because you guys been doing this to keep motivated to stay really grinding and looking forward for your dream and just working that thing out.
I would say, number one, make sure you have the bandwidth to do it. Because that's always the most unfortunate thing where people's personal lives really kind of stop them from participating in it. Definitely make sure that you are not caught up in situations that are going to potentially just stop you from participating in it. And also, look at it as a business, right? It is music. Music has feelings. However, this is a business of music. It's not the music business. And I think when people realize, wait, it's a business of music, So in order for this thing to continue, you at some point need to generate money, which means that the product you put out, it really can't be a knockoff. It's going to have to be original in order for you to get folks to really pay attention to you. So, if you start thinking about it like that, then you'll say, wait a minute, I probably should really make my own sound. Yeah, you probably should, because that's what you're going to be able to sell versus you being the next knockoff of Lil Yachty.
Yeah.
Nothing against Lil Yachty, but or being the next knockoff of, Rich Homie Quan, right? They already have like 100 of those, right?
Yes.
And those people have financial backing that's probably far superior to you.
Yes.
So who do you think is going to actually be able to even go on tour or perform? So the only way that these independent artists are going to really stand out, like I said before, make something different. It doesn't have to be super over the top. It just needs to be different, and it needs to be your sound, and it needs to be something that someone else can't claim, right? And if you can do that, I think that makes it easier for people to want to get behind you and say, hey, I was the first person to hear when this artist was coming out. I'm a fan from day one. That's what you want. You want people to be like that versus, oh yeah, I heard that last time. You got the same beat everybody else got from YouTube. Yeah, don't we don't want to hear that, But then also I would say, if they can, try to make plans or at least goals. Like I would say for now, get 10 people to like your music. Like actual fans, not your family, but like people that you don't, people that you don't know. That's the true test. I kid you not. Like, don't play it for people that you know, because they're not gonna say anything bad to you, hopefully. Right. But play it for people that you don't know. And if you can get those people to like you, then get 10 more, and then get 10 more, and just start building up your following that way versus, I'm only gonna play this stuff for people in my household, my immediate friends. They give you a feedback, like an echo chamber. They're just going to keep telling you you're doing great, and all you're doing is making the same song over and over again, which, like you said before,
discourage you,
right? Then
but they're not being honest,
right? Because they're not going to do that. Because most people are afraid of confrontation. And you can ask Deuce. I don't mind it at all. I will tell you. No,
this sucks.
That's terrible. That is terrible. Do it again. Do it again.
Trash.
Do it again. I know what you're thinking. Matter of fact, go outside. Come back in 15 minutes. Do it again. So yeah, you have to have people with you that's going to do that. And then the last thing I would say is, don't do it on your own. At least try to get one other person to work with you, and then start to figure out some sort of team. Because this, the thing I would say for music is everyone is like football, and they're trying to hit the field with one person playing quarterback. You have no other positions. They're like, no, it's just me. I'm the quarterback. You can't throw the ball to yourself.
Nope.
Right.
So you're gonna get hit. Like, these guys are coming out with teams, You know, and I would say that to artists that I meet. I say, look, they have marketing teams, they have budget, they have people for fashion, they have people for videos, they have lawyer. I mean, they have a lot of stuff going on that you don't see. You just see them at the end with their chains and they're smiling at you. You're seeing the end result of a business. They are advertising a lifestyle, and you're trying to copy them, and you're trying to sell it to people. So it's like, look, you're gonna have to do something different because the issue that they have is they have expectations and you don't, which means you can really do something that they can't do. They're expected to continue down that path.
Mhm.
You're not. So you can actually come from left field and do something that they might want to do. They just can't do it because they've told everybody all the people they've shot and all the drugs they've sold. But the reality is, like I said before, they want to be on R&B songs. You know, so it's like, you know, that's your opportunity. You don't have to follow their path. Let them be what they are and let them owe all that money to those people. And you focus on yourself and your business with your people and your team. And you stay motivated with that part, but you also try to get people to listen to your sound, not someone else's.
Now, when you're indie with a few dollars, what are your recommendations for getting that team? You know, because I know,
Yeah.
you know, so we have to do what we got to do. Bills do not stop.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I mean, don't quit your day job, whatever you're doing. Look, you believe in the dream, I'm with you. Just, you know, don't quit your day job. Don't be, you know, don't do that. Be responsible in that part, and you know, set some timetables for yourself. You know, in the next 3 months, and just if you need to, just slowly save up your money. Because let's be honest here, right? All these phones we have, almost $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Laptops, right? Clothing. You can find some money to put away and do it if you really want to do it, right? So I would say,
True.
yeah, I'd say, you know, just try to set some kind of goals, right? What do you need to do in order to be successful? You're right. If you're going to build a team, who do you need? Well, I need to get, you know, promotion. Okay, well, what does that look like? Right? Who do you need for that? Right? Or you need clothing. What does that look like? Who can you get for that? People are out there and they're not as rigid as you would think, right? But if you come across like, oh, I got all this money and this and this and that, okay, well, you can pay full price.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm gonna say to you.
Right.
But if you out there working, you know, you'll have like folks who are also trying to create their own clothing brand and they realize they need people to wear their clothing. And you're out and you're doing open mics and you're performing and stuff. Guess what?
Otter.
These things connect.
Yes.
So that's how you can start to build your team. But it only works if you're helping yourself. If you're waiting on a handout, you're going to be waiting for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So get out there and work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what's the caliber of artists that you work with?
Caliber of artists. I would say I have a couple of different type of artists, and I would say it's I have some artists that are really good as far as like creating their own sound. And then I have some other artists that are like in the very beginning stages, right? They're trying to figure out who they are.
Gotcha.
So it just really depends. And I approach them both obviously differently. You know, some artists I can just say, hey, look, here it is. And they just do their own thing. I don't have to really say much. I'm waiting on them to make something, right? And then other artists, I'm more hands-on. So it just really depends. Like I said, I've been I actually performed with Deuce for his last album, and he might talk to you about that. But I think we had what was it, like 300, 400 people that came to the first show? Was it the first show or the second show? Deuce?
Deuce, you there?
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, yeah. Well,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we don't lost Deuce.
But yeah, we had some really good feedback, and I think that after we did those shows, I also realized how the music affected people we didn't know. We didn't know any of these people, right? I mean, we were obviously in the VIP section, but we didn't know anybody that was in the crowd. It was just a bunch of people, and they paid to get in. And I was like, huh, you guys have never heard any of this music? and you guys like it, right? We got all this bass playing, and everyone's so excited, and they started, yeah. Halfway through the song, they know the chorus now. I'm like, oh, so this is what this looks like. Okay.
Now, where were you?
We were in New Orleans.
Okay.
I tell you, the most valuable lesson I learned was to just keep my shades on.
Why?
Oh, you talking about the show from the first album?
Yeah. I'll say the most valuable lesson I had was to always keep my shades on, because you can't see anything with the lights.
You sure can't. It's like it's a crowd of people just see a black. You just see just bodies moving, and you're just like, are these people even listening to what I'm doing? Are they actually even paying attention? But then when you hear that energy, like when we did it, it was like 400 people. It was ridiculous because it was so many people just moving around, jumping, and all you doing is feeding back off of that. Like when you get on stage and you're in front of folks, it feels like everybody is just resonating with what you're doing. That's why the music gotta have like that energy. That's why folks will fight. That's why folks are at crazy music, because when everybody's in sync with it, you vibe with it. So that first few shows we did was 400, 500 people. We just went off of that because we didn't know what else we were doing up there. We was just up there performing the songs, but we didn't have no idea like how to actually rock the crowd and like get in their face and do all that. All we knew was just a bunch of people dancing, and we was just riding out with that. That's really how our first few shows went.
Yeah, I mean, it went to the point that like some stuff was planned with the DJ, and then other things were not planned because our crew had a couple of girls with us, and then they were magically on stage.
Oh, wow.
Dancing with us. I was like, okay, so this
is like magic.
Show.
Like I dream of genie type stuff just happened.
Oh, there's girls. Okay, where's my drink? So that's the other reason. Keep your shades on. Where's my drink? Make sure they can't see how your eyes look. But yeah, like I said, between that experience and then having my songs in like other like indie movies, and then also just in the circuit here in Atlanta for like the strip clubs, because I've been to so many strip clubs in Atlanta. That's a thing. It's like a lifestyle going to strip club.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. So I've been to so many strip clubs, and I've seen and I've just experienced like all the dancers dancing to my songs, my beats to my songs, and then they would come back up to the DJ and say, hey, what was that song you just played? Play it again.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting tips off that. Play it again. People like that song, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I think what we want to do now with some of the some of the other artists, I have to get. I think I was telling you, Miss Entertainment, the other artist that I'm working with, she's in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Not strip club music. It's R&B. It's more R&B pop music. But it's a totally different crowd, totally different path. And because she's so far away, we're having to make adjustments for where she is. But that's what we want. I wanted artists that I could really work with and kind of build their sound, their catalog, and assist where I can. Because I see, like you said, it's a lot to take on, and then once you realize that it is a business, you need to develop a team, and you need to have people that you can trust and work with. So,
So you guys are working on an album now, right? So let's correct. You and Deuce. Deuce, you got albums coming out.
So yeah, well, it's my album, but it's all produced by him, because pretty much me and Nauti just like we like Timbaland and Missy. We Dre and Snoop when it comes to how we come together with the songs. And we've been working on this project for a while, and it's been an idea that I've had because it's really the experiences of like my last 5 years. So it's called One Drink Minimum, but it sounds like it's just all alcohol related, and it kind of is, but it's kind of like the stories that go with that. Like not just your drunk nights out, not just when you sitting around with your friends and y'all done had a little bit too much Chavassier, not like just that. But just more like, what do you do when you out in the elements and you meet girls, or you meet somebody, or, you going through life experiences and seeing what that does to you when you go out. Like one of the songs me and him worked on that I think is going to probably be the next single is called Wings and Things. And it sounds like I'm talking about Zaxby's, and I do mention Zaxby's, but the song is not about that at all. Like it's not about it. It's just me it's I don't know. I kind of like feel like sometimes I'll just come up with a line and it stuck in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna figure out how to make a song about it. Regardless of whatever else happens, I'm gonna figure out how to make a song called Wings and Things. But it's essentially a song about how lately, you know, like all my friends are getting married, all my friends are, you know, invite me to weddings, and they just like, man, who you bringing to the wedding? It's like, I don't know, whoever I'm dating at the time, whoever show up, that's who's gonna come to my wedding, come to your wedding. And they're like, man, you always bring somebody different to the wedding. It's like, I still ain't found that one yet. So, you know, but at the same time, everybody's like all worried and stressed out and like, oh man, we got to plan all this and doing all that. And it's like, what you doing? Oh, I'm just going to actually get some Wings and Things. That's it. That's it. Like, and that's what I wrote the song about. I was like, everybody's stressed out about marriage. Everybody's stressed about their kids. And I'm like, bro, I'm just Zaxby's right now. What's up? And that's really how I come to get on his songs. And I hear a beat from him, and that's be the first thing that pop in my head. Like, man, where you at? I'm at Zaxby's, dog. I'm about to write a song about that. And just tell my experience through that story. So my album is kind of like full of that. It's kind of full of these little quirky stories because I listen to a lot of other genres, like Nauti was saying, and most of my stories aren't going to be found some you find in hip hop. Like you're not going to find like some that came out of Wedding Crashers on a hip hop album. But that's kind of like that's kind of what the song's about. Or, you know, 21, it sounds like something that, you know, Shawn Mendes or some like EDM singer would make. And it's like, no, it's just a song about me going out to the club, but it's not going to be we popping bottles, we getting money. It's like, no, we just in the club, just doing what people normally do. So I feel like when I put my album together, I took all the experiences that I had over the past 5 years, kind of went with Nauti's production because his stuff always evolving too. Like he'll tell you every time he hear a new beat, I'm like, bro, I want to write a song to that. And I'm like, dude, you got an album coming out. I was like, I know, but I can put this on the album. It's going to fit. And he's like, man, you've been saying that for like the last year and a half. When is this album coming out? So we finally got it together where I have a project. It's going to probably be about 14 songs total. And it's just different experiences of me in that moment in time when I heard that beat, when I heard that track and what I saw and what I imagined when I wrote it. And I just kind of get with Nauti and he's like, hey, let's just write that out, figure that idea out, and then find a way to link it all together. Because he's really like I said, when I say he's the Timbaland all this, he really is. He's putting this whole project together without having to like necessarily, like you say, have control or influence. He's just giving me the tracks to work with, and I just run with it from there. So hopefully we, you know, the plan is to put it out this summer. We kind of have a tentative release date on it, but it's really just my stories to his production because his production sells stories too. He has a lot of beats that make you think about what he was thinking when he made them. And I still don't know his whole process. And I've known this man over 20 years. I still don't know how he make all the stuff he makes, but it's what he do.
Yeah.
So when we're going to actually put a date on there so to keep you on schedule?
You know what? You know what? If I did that, if I said that date right now, I would have to hold myself to it because otherwise he just Nauti know he was like, man, here we is in May. Well, May's tomorrow, and you're gonna be talking about in August. So man, we about to put this album out. So so I want to drop it tentatively like in August, like the 1st of August. That's really when I'm gonna hold myself to that right now on y'all show. Right now, talented Nauti, we going the 1st of August. We rolling with that.
August 1st. Everybody that's listening, that's on this
August 1st.
Go August 1st and download that music, man.
So where will it be?
Y'all hold me to that.
Where would they be on SoundCloud? Where it's gonna be?
Oh no.
Oh, we going straight to Spotify. Apple Music, every major platform. We are not SoundCloud artists, right? Well, I mean, I ain't no disrespect to SoundCloud. Let me rephrase that. It ain't that SoundCloud isn't a good platform. It's awesome, but in the day, like you say, you got to make money, and it's hard to make money on SoundCloud. But right. it's easy on Spotify and YouTube and everything else. And what we were just talking about the other day, it was like, man, it would be nice if we could do a vinyl. Like a lot of hip hop people don't do vinyls because a lot of people don't listen to music. I don't know how a lot of hip hop music we sound on vinyl these days, but I know a lot of musicians use it now kind of like to give their fans direct way to have a high quality version of music and feel like they own something. Because, you know, who's going to listen to a CD? Who's going to have a CD these days? But you'll find people going back, getting record players just to play vinyl albums on. And there's a couple of songs that, what you got on vinyl these days? What you got on vinyl these days?
I have old school, so I have still my 45s. I still, you know, I still have old stuff, you know, like Al Green when he was sitting in the chair with that little white thing. Yeah, that is at home.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one. My mom has that. My mom has actually she had Off the Wall on vinyl. She bought that on vinyl a while back. She had Temptations. My mom has so many old vinyl records that I need to go back through and just sit down and listen to. She has so many. But there's like a couple of songs like that. There's actually this one song that Nauti wants me to do just for the vinyl. It's called Madison Avenue. Yeah. And it's based on the TV show Mad Men. That was they came on AMC about 6-7 years, about 8 years ago now. It was one of my favorite TV shows because I really related to the main character. And as Nauti know, I'm heavy in the film. I'm heavy into it. I actually work on sets from time to time. I'm trying to, you know, working on my screenwriting and stuff like that. But as an artist, I watched that show and I saw the main character, Draper, and he was just, if anybody's ever seen it, you know, it's about a dude that works in advertisement, but it's not really necessarily about him working in that industry. It's about what the industry has done to him and how he's married, but he's like constantly looking around for something else. He can't help himself. Like he's just a dude that just is conflicted with who he is as a person. So I wrote this song Madison Avenue kind of based on that. Like, you know, there's this girl, like we keep telling each other we perfect, we supposed to be together, but I don't know why it's not working. I don't know what's wrong. Is it me? Is it you? And it's probably me. And I tell them, it's probably me. I'm messing up because it usually is. But the song itself kind of like explores that topic of what happens when the man can't just admit that he ain't ready. He ain't got his life together yet. And I feel like that's something old school R&B and a lot of older music used to talk about, where it's like the conflicts of just being in a relationship as opposed to now where it's like, oh, I don't care. I'm just going to go cheat and do all this other stuff. I'm just going to move on. Like, really? You're just not going to fix it? Nah, I'm just going to cheat and do whatever. So you got to look at it like everybody has a story to tell like that. And I feel like my album is going to be full of those little stories that if you did put it on vinyl, you would listen to it. And from start to finish, you'll just be told piece by piece of everything that I'm going through. And it'll feel like a real album. It'll feel like you can just let it run and then let the little thing skip at the end, and all you hear is the static. That lets you know you've heard that album. You know, so that's what me and Nauti gonna try to do. August 1st. That's what we planning on.
Yes. So we holding you to it. August 1st.
Please do. And if y'all have me back, please remember like August 1st. I said that date because Nauti will be mad if I don't do it. He'll be like, bro, you told him August 1st. You told him. I was like, I did. I did. But no, it really is. The album essentially done. It's just me needing to make the little tweaks I make because I sometimes be too much of a perfectionist. I go a little too much on that. And now it's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, let me add this. No, it's done. It's done.
You're never
done with the song.
Keep going back and like, hey, let me add this. Nobody
right. And that's the part. That's the part of control and influence he got with me. He'd be like, "Bro, the song is done, bro. You just adding too much now." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "No, because you know." He's like, "You can't sing, so why are you trying to sing on your?" And I can't. I can't hit a note to save my life. I can harmonize like on some Ja Rule type stuff, but don't do no Ja Rule type stuff on those projects. So that's really where he comes in and like lets me know, bro, you got this, you good. But now I didn't tell you, he's been walking through every step of this album. He kind of knows where my head was at with it. So he's the one putting the final touches on it to make it sound like what it's supposed to be when it comes out.
All right. So if people wanted to get in contact with you guys, how could they get in contact with you?
Typically it's a carrier pigeon and you know, smoke outside, just kind of wave it. No, So you can get with me on Instagram at the real J Nauti, all that, yeah, just the real J Nauti, and yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deuce?
and for me, like you can hit me. I'm on Instagram right now. Right now, my handle is AtownBrown08. That's been the handle I've had since I created the account. I also am on Twitter, same handle. On Facebook and every other site though, you can just type in it's Deuce G Music. So it's Facebook, / Deuce G Music. Same thing for Snapchat. Same thing for everything else. But we got the website coming, DeuceGmusic.com. That should be coming out by the time the album is going to be ready to go. So for now, AtownBrown08, Instagram, Snapchat, and then on Facebook, I'm Deuce G Music.
Good.
Okay. Well, we getting ready to start winding this down. So before we get to y'all final words, we got a couple more things. Hold on. All right. So this section here, did you know? This section, we celebrate and acknowledge the African American and their contributions to making this country great. Now, February is Black History Month, but we celebrate Black history on our show every week. So today, we are going to celebrate Mr. Jesse Collins, the first Black executive producer of the Super Bowl halftime show. Collins began his 20-year career in TV writing, which eventually led to producing and becoming a founder of and CEO of his eponymous entertainment company. He's known for producing some of the most memorable moments in awards shows history, including his Emmy-nominated work for the 61st Grammy Awards in 2019, as well as scripted series, competition shows, and news specials like last summer, John Lewis Celebrating a Hero. In May 2020, Jesse Collins Entertainment signed a multi-year deal with Viacom CBS cable network to provide production services for BET, CMT, Comedy Central, MTV, Paramount Network, TV Land, and VH1. Through that agreement, Collins will produce theatrical films for the very first time. So today, Jesse Collins, we celebrate you and your contributions to making this country great. Yay! Just giving us some Black history there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then on to all right, so check your truth. This segment where I take the time to exhale and just blow some shit out. So last night on my show, The Power Hour with the Real Ass People Society crew and plug on every Friday night at 7 p.m. on Territorial Entertainment Radio, streaming over Live 365. So every show I have a real ass quote of the day. And last night, this was the real ass quote. 3 simple rules in life. If you do not go after what you want, you will never have it. If you do not ask, the answer will always be no. If you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place. And so for those going after their dreams and never giving up, pushing forward, let's celebrate you and let's get there together. Now, for those dead weight people holding on to us go-getters for dear life because you refuse to go after your dream on your own, please, please, please get a life. Stop living through other eyes and live your life through your own eyes. Stop being content on, I'm going to do it, or I just need some help only because you refuse to try, or I want to support you, but yet you try and you try and you try, but you're in the middle of everything I do. So let me clarify. I welcome the support, but support doesn't mean you come in and try and tell me what to do, how to do it, and where to do it when you're not doing shit yourself. So, as your president of the Real Ass People Society, I encourage my members to shake those hanger-ons, and I promise you, you will move faster in achieving your dreams. So, God bless you and this United States of America. And that is from your president of the Real Ass People Society. I don't get no claps.
Oh, you want
Oh,
clap?
clap, finger snaps, everything. Look at some finger snaps for that.
I like that statement. That actually reminds me of something I tell him all the time, which is, you know, folks who are doing the least and typically have the least amount of money have the most amount of time. They're not working. They're not doing anything. So they're sitting there they're just opinionated. And I was like, everybody has opinions, but their opinions don't actually equate to anything.
Mm-mm.
You know, I mean, it's like trying to get someone who, you know, is basically, you know, a high school dropout, not knocking them, but trying to give advice to a doctor. It's like, you're not going to tell them how to do this surgery. You don't. Why? You know, like, you know, come on, son. Let's not do that. So yeah, that's a hard thing, especially for artists. Like, they're getting advice from people who are less successful than them.
Ain't done shit.
Hadn't done anything. They barely got out of bed.
Yes. Those are ones that's like, you can keep your opinions to yourself. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just go and like my shit. That's it.
That's it. That's all they need to be doing.
And you got those that are going will keep watching what everything you're doing, but won't say nothing, won't say, hey, congratulations, how you doing? You know, just won't support you at all. But they watching everything you do,
waiting for you to mess up.
Yes,
because they like some people. It's one of those things. It's so easy to hate than it is to love.
Congratulate.
Yeah, it's like people just like that. They're like, I'm waiting for them to mess up. I know they're gonna mess up. See, I told you they messed up.
Told you.
Now, why would you want your supposed friend to mess up? That doesn't make sense. Like,
that's when they actually comment.
Right. Yeah,
they don't comment no other time, but as soon as you make that one mess up, that's when they comment.
You need to just go ahead and quit.
I told you.
Oh, and it's quick. Like, it's immediate. They see it like, oh, I'm ready. Like, you have been waiting. Well, like you say, you ain't got nothing else to do all day. You just been waiting all day.
Right. So I don't want their advice, but I appreciate that you have an opinion.
Yeah.
You keep all that.
Exactly.
So before we go into, I turn it back over to DJ Talented for our final word. A couple of words from our sponsor.
Terradome Entertainment. We turn your fear of dreaming into amazing realities. If your dream is to become a photographer, we have a nice intimate photo studio just for you. If you want to record that next hit song or do voiceover work, we have a state-of-the-art studio also for you. If you want to professionally record your own podcast, well, we have that too. Check us out at www.terradomeentertainment.com. We are the only ones to turn your fear of dreaming into amazing realities.
All right, turning back over to you, DJ Talent, to take us out for some final words.
All right. So as you heard the commercial or the promotion there, we do have a intimate place here where we have a full-blown music studio. We have a podcast area / radio station. You check us out on Live 365 under Terradome Entertainment Radio. And then we also have a photo shoot / documentary style location here as well. So if you're a photographer, come on in, use the facility. We have the lights, we have everything you need except the camera. You bring your own damn camera. But
we do have camera, but you can rent that.
We got yeah, you know, it can all be in the package. So again, we was talking to Jay Nauti, the talented Deuce G. Check their music out on August 1st. We gonna keep on saying that.
Over to it. August 1st.
August 1st. Spotify, all them damn streaming sites. You better get in where you fit in, dig. All right. So Jay Nauti, anything else you wanna say to the people?
No, I mean, I'm just happy that you guys, you know, had us on today. And, you know, I like the show. So, yeah, hopefully, you know, we'll be able to come back sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. We also doing something that we're going to start up is conversations with. It's basically going to be something similar to Uncensored and Unsung with artists and producers and things like that.
Well, you have given an opportunity to tell your story.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got to be a multi-millionaire to have a story.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might have to get you
Sure.
on now.
Okay. Well, y'all know where I am.
Deuce G, any other words?
The only thing I'll say is that, you know, for anybody, like I was saying, any words to any inspiring artists, people coming out, like I said, the first thing I would do, and we kind of touched on it earlier, just kind of get out your element a little bit. Go listen to other genres of music, other music than what you know, and start like telling your stories in the most creative way possible, the way that you know that people have not heard it before, or at least they haven't heard it from you. So as long as you stay true to yourself and stay creative in how you want to make your music, you'll always sound different. You'll always figure a way to break the mold in that regard. But other than that, I appreciate y'all having us today. This has been an awesome show. Y'all got a good thing going on here. So me and Nauti gonna hopefully keep coming back and making sure y'all know what's up. And like I said, August 1st.
August 1st.
I'm holding myself to it. Now I'm all like hyped about it. Now I'm like gonna write that on the calendar, and I'm just gonna write it in red so I know that it's serious. August 1st is that day.
Hey,
For one drink nothing.
If August 1st falls on a Friday or Saturday, y'all got a show going on that day. We
Oh
want
yeah, the album release,
make sure that
everything
album
happening
August
that day.
1st. So we're doing a show August 1st. Hopefully, let me check the calendar real quick.
What is
See
August
what
1st?
day that is.
Check the calendar.
Everybody pull out their phones and devices, checking calendars.
Everybody. What's August 1st?
August 1st is
I can't even get to it.
August 1st is a Monday. So
It's a Monday.
that's a Monday. So that's 6th or the 5th.
All right. Okay. August 5th then. August 5th. I just knew it was gonna be the first week in August, but August 5th. Let's rephrase it. August 5th. We that's what we're gonna stick to.
All right.
it. So
August
let's-
5th.
August 5th.
You'll be on our other show.
The Power Hour. We're gonna do an album release.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate. Yeah, that'd be dope. I want to like, cause I want people to hear it. I want to hear it all in one go. Just run it and just give y'all that vision of where I was at. You know, just everything.
Then that way we can actually play you on the radio.
Okay.
So
That'll work.
that is a radio show. The Power Hour is a radio show. This is our YouTube show. So we can't really play too much music on YouTube because they're gonna copyright.
They're gonna shut us down. But
Yeah.
on our radio show, we can.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
So
August
August 5th.
All right.
August 5th. I'm telling you, August 5th. I got it. It's going.
Everybody that's watching, y'all hear it. August 5th. He didn't owned up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Nauti is gonna be on his back about it.
Mm-hmm.
August 5th is gotta
I ain't
happen.
gonna. As soon as we get off this, he gonna text me. So you know it's August 5th now, right? And I'm like, yep, it's August. You ain't gotta text me, dog. I already know it's August 5th.
So this has been a great show, man. Talking about music, parts of music, and getting your creativity out there because you are a music artist or a producer or an engineer. Don't do what everybody else does. Do your own thing. It'll catch on. Miss Entertainment, how can people get in contact with you?
I am on everything. MIZZENTATL. There it is.
Myself, DJ Talented _1 on Instagram. And this has been The Real
The Raw.
and the
Motherfucking
motherfucking
rugged.
rugged. You dig? And we out this bitch.
We give you the real, like you popping a red pill. Ain't no time for acting, it's like camera action. Real life is a script, real talk is what it is. Enlighten your success, back at it again. Until you can't filter it, it's raw. Uncut, no chase, give it to you in your face. Fresh off the chopping block, delivery every Sunday. Rugged, it is the show with substance, guaranteed you leave with something. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, pour it in your glass, let's toast it. Real raw, real motherfucking rugged.